so I just wanted to do a quick little video wrap up. The first week is never that exciting. The main thing that we've been focusing on is establishing his response to a marker system. So a marker is just a cue or sound that announces, that marks a moment in time that I like something that he does, and that is going to announce the arrival of food for him. So when I'm teaching him new behaviors and he shows the behavior that I like, through association, through repetition, an association is created between marker and food. So it kind of bridges the gap between, hey, I like that, and me delivering the food. So it'll help avoid disassociation. So for instance, if I'm putting him into a sit and then when I go to give him his food, he pops up out of the sit, I don't want to reward that moment. I want to make sure that I'm not muddying the water. So the marker allows me to mark the exact moment in time that he does the thing that I like, so that he will continue to do that behavior. So it'll cause that behavior to take on the good feeling of food every time he hears that marker. So, nope, good boy, yes. So I have a couple of different markers that I will be using. Each one will help create clarity and expectation with what I want him to do within behavior. So we have the word yes, we have the word good, we have the word okay, and then we have the word no. Yes and good are going to be they're going to be reward markers. There's kibble on the floor around us, that's why he's like checking in with that. Those are going to be our reward markers. Yes means I like what you did there, come get something from me. So it's just really quick. He will show something that I like, I mark it to reward it, he can be completely done with that behavior and come take something from me. So he does not have to continue doing that behavior past that marker. Whereas good and okay, there are going to be ones that I use nope, yes, to build duration. So if I ask him to go into a sit, good, I want him to remain in that sit, good, until I, okay, release him out of the behavior. So I'll use the word good, sit, good. I use the word good to reward him remaining behavior, good. The marker will happen first, good, and then the presentation of food, so that he's responding to the marker, not my hand movements. Those are going to be neutral things for him, good. And then again, okay, means he can come up out of behavior. So I'll say okay, and then I'll kind of help him come out of behavior. No is going to be something that I use to stop unwanted behaviors, to correct him for coming out of behavior prematurely and so forth. I'm not using it too much right now. I want to make sure that he actually understands expectations before I start telling him he's doing something wrong, with the exception of just he's not allowed to do something altogether, like drag over to get food. That's not allowed. But I want to teach him what that means as well. So if I say the word no, I will apply leash pressure or spatial pressure or eventually e-collar pressure, to help him understand that the consequence behind the word. So that way, if I just use the word no, he knows what it means and he won't need further communication within that behavior. So homework that I always recommend right now at this phase is every time he is given any type of food, whether it's his meals or you're giving him a treat, I want that to be preceded with the word yes, offering the food. And even a step further, I really use the yes one right now, kind of double-sided. I will use it to build engagement. So every time, yes, he pays attention to me or checks in with me or makes eye contact with me, I'll reward that moment because I want to show him that there's value in yes, paying attention to me. So we're starting in a very neutral location. Like we're just in the training room. The only thing that's really competing as far as motivators is sniffing and things like that, but there's not a lot of things going on. There's a couple of dogs in the room, but they're all resting in their crates, so he's not really worried about them. I'm not going to start in a really busy environment because he's probably going to be more motivated by paying attention to those things. He's going to want to interact with those types of stimulus. So start in your house, in the kitchen, graduate to the backyard, graduate to the front yard, graduate to doing around the neighborhood, but move at his pace, where all you're doing is paying him for paying attention to you. I don't need him to stare at you the entire time, but we do want to show him that there's value in paying attention to where we are, turning with us, all of those things. It's all going to be part of showing him how to walk nicely on a leash, how to come when we ask him to come. we have to earn him finding value in us before we can, force him to do that. Yes. And then when you go to pay him, I like to keep moving. So if you're feeding him his food, instead of just, putting the bowl down on the ground, you'll have the bowl in your hand. When he looks up at you, which he probably is going to stare at you because he knows it's food time, you can say, yes, and then make him chase the bowl around and then put it down on the ground and then just leave him alone. Or you could hand feed to where, this is what I do with my puppy who's in there. Instead of just putting a bowl on the ground, I have the bowl on the counter, and when she pays attention to me, I will yes her, and then let her come take a handful of food, a couple of handfuls of food, maybe just a kibble, doesn't matter, until her meal, whatever her meal allowance is over. So just a really great way to build engagement. Yes, and him finding value in you and wanting to pay attention to you without forcing it. He seems to be very interested in, at least me right now, regardless, so I don't feel like he's a dog that I really have to fight for that too much. But what I do want to avoid is if he's paying attention to me, or maybe he just looks up at me really quickly and then looks away, and then you've already said the word yes and you go to give him food and he goes off that way, I will not chase after him to offer him his food. If he doesn't want it, then we put it away and he can wait until the next time. I always call that playing hard to get, which is what he does to us. If he's sniffing and doing other things, he's like, wow, I really wish he would walk with me and pay attention to me. I want to flip those roles. And if I say yes, and he doesn't immediately pay attention to me, I'm going to just run backwards. I want to make him chase after me. Yes. Very good. That came out of the shot. Yes. That just helps build motivation and excitement in what I have to offer. So even if he's full, you at least have that element of play and that prey drive to help build up what you have to offer. If you're just smashing food into his face, it's not as fun for him, and eventually he'll be like, I don't really need that. Yes! But you see how happy he gets, his little tail wags, he trots after me. That's all stuff that's really fun for him to do. So that's my I know it's not like this breakthrough thing as far as training perceivably, but it is a really big step in what I focus on the first week usually with dogs. Really getting them wanting to pay attention to me and caring about what I have to offer. If I go straight into obedience, I find that there's a lot of conflict and especially of interest. So that's my recommendation and a little recap of what we've been doing this week. He's doing really well. We've put him out in the yards, he's fine. I know that you said that he goes to daycare. His first day he was a little stressed out, so I didn't want to push him into that situation too much, but he's fine now. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully what I said made sense. I tend to ramble on all of my videos, so good luck in keeping up with how I talk.